Though he's certainly made a fair share of flops and meh films, director Martin Campbell has also, in my opinion, unequivocally made a handful of really outstanding action flicks, from GoldenEye to The Mask of Zorro to Casino Royale, and when it came to the action in it, The Foreigner proved that the quality of those films and the director's command of the genre certainly weren't things of the past. With sequence after sequence, Campbell proved himself as capable as ever. When it came to the way that he blocked his actors and moved his camera, he approached most scenes not so much as a traditional film director, as much as a dance choreographer, crafting scenes that would move with such fluidity and such intensity, ever maintaining his uncompromising drive. And everyone, from his leads to his subplot characters and even his extras, were clearly pushed to produce something that was fiercely engaging and unique. You wouldn't find any quote-unquote Dunkirk extras in a Martin Campbell film, and the kind of passion and intensity found in the action sequences really was on display throughout the film. There was a zeal and earnestness in this film that might have, at certain points, done Kenneth Branagh proud, which of course didn't mean that the characters were just constantly shouting at each other the entire film. Quite to the contrary, the character of Hennessy, for example, spent the first quarter of the film whispering intensely on his phone. Whispers that did ultimately turn into impassioned shouts as the film developed and progressed. The action sequences themselves were also not as relentlessly constant as the trailer may have led us to believe, which some will certainly find disappointing, myself included, but their sparing uses in the film did make those that were in the film that much more impactful when they arrived. Of course, probably the most overtly brilliant part of that action equation was Mr. Jackie Chan. It likely comes as no surprise at all, but his action sequences in particular were each thoroughly entertaining. An impressive mixture of realism and ferocity, as well as stylization, flow, rhythm, and build. And I was impressed too with the performance that the Hong Kong star turned in, even if it was surprisingly thin in its writing. Even so, the silent, stoic, and ever-relentless persona that he captured was almost always engaging when on screen. And there were a couple of scenes where he really did reveal some very heart-wrenching emotion. Given a significantly more meaty role was Pierce Brosnan, reteaming once again with his GoldenEye director, and to some rather excellent results. The character was this now wannabe upstanding politician, once violent terrorist, caught in this tangle of lies, reeling about in this really fascinating, albeit depressing, attempt to hold together a political and personal life that was fast unraveling. And Brosnan, under Campbell's ever-spirited direction, really did turn in a fully committed performance. Unfortunately, as compelling as those two characters were separately, Chan and Brosnan's storylines really did feel like they belonged in completely different films. One felt much more like it wanted to be a standard action flick, think Taken or Die Hard, where it could completely unashamedly embrace the numerous silly cliches written into it. A quote-unquote cute scene of connection between father and daughter before things go horribly wrong, a grieving family man who just happens to have extensive military training, and a host of bad guys, all of whom somehow know the martial arts, and on and on. Of course, I'm not trying to insinuate that those tropes can't work or that they can't even be entertaining in certain films, but rather that they do begin to feel uncomfortably awkward when paired with this tough-as-nails, often shockingly brutal political thriller. One moment we're watching Jackie Chan jump around on rooftops, and the next we're immersed with Brosnan in the real world of terrorism. And when they would whiplash me away from Brosnan's storyline, the violence and sexuality in it suddenly felt incredibly uncomfortable, and then the motivation and action in Chan's frivolous and cheesy. And having those storylines so disconnected tonally from one another really did nothing to help my connection to and investment in the characters themselves. Especially with Chan's character, his almost complete lack of nuance when held up to Brosnan's much more robust character really did make him feel flat. So ultimately, as strong as the action was in this film and as decently compelling the political intrigue, when combined together, the shortcomings of both storylines were only augmented, giving us this uneven, sometimes just oddly uncomfortable viewing experience. And for all these reasons, I will give the film a 3 out of 5 and still a heart. I just can't help myself. I really do enjoy Martin Campbell's direction, and Jackie Chan does kick all kinds of butt in this film, which is just fun to watch. I am curious if you guys have a favorite Jackie Chan film, and also if you have a favorite Martin Campbell film. I have seen far too few Jackie Chan films to comment on that, unfortunately. I am ashamed, yes. But as far as my favorite Martin Campbell film, I've got to go with GoldenEye. Also, please do subscribe. I'm going to continue to review films and television on this channel, and I would love for you to stay up to date on all of those things. But for now, I'm Chris Hartwell. This is The Heartbeat. Thank you for joining me.